Let's start with a thumbnail. Start with a line of action. So we have our line of action. I guess let's zoom this up in here. Let's see what I'm doing up in here. Oh, it's kind of, can't, okay, we go. Got our line of action, very drawn, very, very small. So the reason why they call them the thumbnails because they draw them very, very tiny. Line of action, this is supposedly the spine of the figure. Now we're going to go into our torso. Pelvis. Head. These are the three movable masses of the figure. Now we will get our proportions on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.5. Trying to think, what could we do up in here? Let's see. I'm trying to think. We're gonna try and draw a bicycle, so I know that. Generally, so why I start with the legs first, by the way, it is an element of what Bridgman used to do. If you read the Bridgman how to construct a figure book, he says you should try and draw a figure like a building, right? And so the weight of the figure is placed upon these legs, and then so you do a bunch with these hands and stuff right up in here. Something like that. I haven't read Bridgman in a long time, but that I remember that's what he did mention. By the way, these tricks up in here are crazy. Oh, this is one I've been actually trying to learn. No, he's doing it the other way. Might not draw a bike, I don't know. Got a little sword, got a little Bible. Trying to do the same thing, you know. Basically, when I don't know what to draw, I basically draw just armor god stuff. Just a simple concept. Makes things easy for me. I don't have to think too much. Oh, well, I do have to think, but it's like... Okay, let's do our second layer now. I kind of want to do like a leaf knight. We've been kind of on the topic of leaf stuff, but right now we're just trying to think of the overall construction of the figure, which maybe we can put a bicycle in here, potentially. Man, I've been doing the same bike thing, haven't I? I just put the bike right there. Huh. Darn. Oh well. Oh, we have to draw it on. Let's try not to stress out. Let's just try and go for it. Okay, let's do our second layer of this thing. We're gonna do our second layer just kind of like what we started with, but now get to put a little bit more emphasis on certain things. Dude, that trick is crazy. What trick is that? I'm just like looking over, I'm like looking down, I even see like what these guys are doing. I'm like, what in the world? That dude was doing a crazy trick. Actually, you know, I kind of want to put the sword over on this side. There we go, that looks better. I actually switched it around and she's actually going to be holding the shield. And then that way maybe a bike would be better up in there. I don't normally, I mean, the thing is you don't have to do these thumbnails, but they do help position things around. Man, this song is like way too slow for me. I don't know what to listen to. So far that's what our thumbnail looks like. Wonder what we can make out of that. What should we listen to? Let's put some more copyright. I need to find copyright free music. Let's see here. Oops. All right, let's do this. Alrighty everybody, we're going to try and draw this figure out from this little thumbnail we got. Actually, you might not be able to see the thumbnail anymore. Actually, you can't see it because the little video's up in there, but I'm going to try and draw this out here. Now we're going to start with the line of action just like we started with the thumbnail. We're going to basically do that, but in a bigger scale now. And it's good to do the little thumbnails. Now, some artists don't even do thumbnails. Sometimes they just go, some artists go straight into the inking and stuff like that. But we're going to just basically just do the same thing and just make sure that we're within the confines of this little thumbnail. So we're going to start with our line of action here. Making sure, maybe I should take off that little video so I can kind of show you guys, but I'm going to start with the line of action, which is the spine of the figure. Take a loose at this. And let's see here. Let's start with the head of the figure. Basically, just do a rough. And I'm actually going to do this with pencil, with a very erasable pencil, by the way. Kind of forgot I used to do this. We're going to just do it very lightly, just seeing if it's going to fit on the page. And I haven't done it in the past one, but I remember I used to do this. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 7.5. Okay. And since this is going to be in a 3/4 view, so if you see this right here, it's not like this. It's not like that. It's going to be a figure more kind of like right there, right? So since that's going to be turned that way, we know that the perspective line is going to be changed, so it's actually going to go out just a little bit. So we kind of know that this figure might fit on this this piece of paper we have right here. It probably don't make any sense, but oh well. Now we're going to go in and let's go in and try and do the 3 immovable masses. Now the 3 immovable masses are the head, the torso, and the pelvis. Now we're going to work on the torso. One, 2, 3. Okay, so 4 should be where the pelvis is. We're thinking about these as blocks. Now, you don't always have to do that. Some people think about them as spheres and circles. For how I've been taught is we want to think about them as blocks. Okay, so we have the spine of the figure up in here. Now let's get now let's build just like we built the thumbnail from like a building, from the legs, so we can know that the weight is going to be holding this structure. By the way, this also is going to be a female, and this is actually the big indicator if you're going to be drawing a male or a female. It's actually within these 3 immovable masses. And from what I was taught is that, now take this with it, now there's different varieties of people, right? But from the general concept of humans, what I was taught anyway, is that, generally females have larger pelvises compared to their rib cage, because generally, because girls, birth children, so you can generally create even just from the forefront of just these 3 immovable masses, the aspects of a male or a female. It's kind of weird, I know, but if you read the book of Bridgman, they go into that and stuff like that in other figure drawing books. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She a brick house. Okay, let's see here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I know that this little line I did, it sounds ridiculous, but there is a muscle in there. I forgot what exact muscle that is, but I do remember that there is a muscle right there. I just don't that's the thing, is if you actually talk to a lot of figure drawing artists, like they don't even remember the muscle. They don't even know what the muscles are called. They just know that I just know that there's a squiggle right there. Making sure that since this figure is on a 3/4, see how this was the line if that was just straight on, right? But we have this at a little bit of perspective, so we're pushing this leg out into perspective a little bit. That's what I just think about. I don't know. I haven't really been drawing that long. I mean, I'm kind of rusty with my character drawing, so you gotta take everything what I say with a grain of salt. And if you want to do it, you can do your own due diligence and study figure drawing as well. And I think it's good. All the things you can learn. Anatomy, Okay, so we have basically our structure complete now. Now there are some general landmarks of the figure, right? Of a general human figure. One of the general landmarks, it sounds strange, but it's the end of the breast is actually on the head of 2 angles. So we go over here to our head measurement right here. We go 1, 2, and since we have this measurement right here, but since this is pushed in perspective a little bit, we know that it should be a little bit down, right? Okay, so let's get up in here. Okie dokie. So,
My name is Lulu Fortune. I'm a furniture designer and also stylist for the last 5 years.
Now, if we were doing this in like, say, like digitally, what a lot of digital artists, what they do is they actually do the horizon flip. So you can like flip this on the horizon, kind of look at it if it was like flipped, if the image was flipped. Holy moly, that dude just did like a gnarly side hang glider. Dude, look at that. That trick right there is insane. Oh my god. That is a very hard trick that dude just did. I'm not really watching the BMX video, but I am kind of like looking over a little. Oh, dude, this is the trick I wanted to learn. Funky chicken toe up. I think it's coming up. Man, that dude just did a double funky chicken toe up. Gosh, I want to learn that. Anyway, let's see here. I need to stay focused. That's kind of why I don't like having this BMX video right here, because it kind of like messes my focus up a little bit, but it's okay. So we have our deltoid, our bicep. This hand, we got the deltoid on that side. Bicep. I'm gonna have a round shield this time. So here's our Bible. Just gonna have a Bible right here. Another floating Bible. I know I do a lot of these, but they're just easy to draw. Just a way I could put the Bible in there. It sounds ridiculous, but because like the whole, you know, like sword of the Spirit is the Word of God. Actually, that thumbnail goes so the hilt should be right there. And so you see how like the proportions are the proportions and not necessarily the perspective, because actually no. So here is the thing also as well. If you get into perspective drawing, the proportions are even more important. So because say we wanted to draw this exact same figure but placed into a perspective grid, right? Now, if you were an animator, what an animator would do is they would take this proportion grid that we just did right now, and if you understand this proportion grid, you should be able to draw this same figure in any single angle. It sounds crazy, but if you understand, because basically if I were to just draw a giant rectangle, right? Imagine if this figure fit in a giant rectangle, right? And we split this rectangle up into all these different proportions, right? But imagine that rectangle, but now we're moving the rectangle like it's a 3D program, right? And that is the crazy thing about perspective. But perspective's like super gnarly. This is just kind of just eyeballing perspective right now. And it's getting a little chilly, so I'm putting my coat on. Okay, where are we at now? Now we can embellish some of the armor, which we're going to try and do. Generally, lately I've been doing some of like, for the Helmet of Salvation, I've been trying to just do like a halo, you know, so I actually did do a little halo on that little thumbnail. Do a little halo up in here. So what we have, the Helmet of Salvation, Breastplate of Righteousness, Belt of Truth, which I generally have been doing like a leaf belt. We can do like a leaf belt. And generally what I do with my pouch, like the little, you know, I generally do this like little pouch thing, but see how I built it on this, see how this was like a rectangle right here for the pelvis? I generally just take that little line right there, and what I do is I'll just make that into another little rectangle, and then I'll just make that into a leaf bag. It sounds ridiculous, but because we know, since that line right there is on that pelvis line, that's generally actually where people put their belt. If you see most people just wearing a belt, you can actually like just round that line right there, and boom, we got a belt. See? Got a little bag. It's gonna be a leaf bag. And so let's see, the breastplate of righteousness. Now this is also where, so right here we've done all this from our imagination, right? Just building this figure up. But this is where you can start, you know, now you can use other people's poses as well, you know. The other thing is this is when you can start bringing in reference, right? But say what happens when people draw from strictly reference is what starts happening is that sometimes you become like a slave to the reference, right? And you have to draw it in the exact same angle. But the thing is, if you start learning how to draw within the construction method of like this and the proportion grid, you should be able to like look at a piece of armor and being like, okay, well, even if a piece of armor is in a different perspective, you could be like, oh, okay, well, I understand that that's just like the general look of it, and we could just place it right up in there. That's what I was taught anyway. But other people, by the way, everybody has their own methods. Some people, they don't even do any of this. There's some artists that just go straight into pen, and then you can just do it like so good. But I just do it like this because it's like much more like kind of like constructive, and there's like, oops, sorry, I just dropped my pencil. It's much more constructive, and I can kind of like take my time and kind of like think about things before I really get into it, right? But there's some artists that you just go straight into it. It's really gnarly. Those artists are crazy. Okay, what are we doing here? I lost my, oh yeah, we're doing the breastplate of, actually let's work on the head. So if you have seen some of my other characters I've done, generally what I ended up doing, now this is actually not from this is actually just something that I've kind of just figured out just from me just scribbling just so many characters, right? Is what I started doing is actually for the male characters, I actually started drawing a box. See how there's like this sphere right here? For the male characters, I would actually draw a box right there and angle it out, and then, you know, half the box. But what I've been finding with like the female characters is generally with the female characters, I kind of like these like these arches and these rounds, and, you know, just emphasizing kind of like that round shape-ish, right? Whereas like a male character, they're kind of more like angular and stuff like that. I probably make no sense. Oh well. So we're gonna try and attempt to draw a portrait right here. And so this is actually something I did learn from another believer. His name's Brad Rigney. I've brought it up previously. There is this guy that works for MTG. His name's Brad Rigney. I actually probably could put his video on. But there was a time I won his video on the internet on this like thing on this site called conceptart.org, and he was telling me, or not me, but just in the video, he was saying that what he does is he works on the hardest areas first, right? So he'll work on the portrait, he'll work on the hands, and then basically if you get those 3 areas down, everything else is kind of like easy mode, right? You can kind of like chill out, you know? But if you just focus on these hard things and then just build upon that, it makes drawing actually a bit faster. And what a lot of artists actually end up doing, and it's not bad because this is just like his method, and so I've kind of adopted his method of going about doing things, right? Because what ends up happening with certain things is sometimes, you know, say you want to like embellish this bag, right? And like imagine if I started just embellishing this bag all the time. I'm like, okay, this is awesome, but then, you know, like maybe other areas which are a little bit more important could be worked on more. Okay, what are we doing here? Okay, we're working on this portrait here. So, I kind of don't know, and this is a very important part, right? Because this indicating line is a very important line of just knowing where do I want this head, right? Like, do I want this head looking at us? Do I want this head looking at the viewer? Do I want this head looking that way? You know, you can totally, it's a total 360 right here. It's actually very interesting thinking about where you want this, right? I guess we'll just do it 3/4. That line's pretty important. That's going to be the middle line. That's generally what I'll do for that middle line. And then what I do right now, and since we have some of our indicating lines, now I'm going to go in with my pencil layer. And with our pencil layer, it's kind of more of the experimentation pencil layer. Because actually this pencil that I'm using, it's actually really hard to erase this pencil. So a lot of people actually don't like using this pencil just because of the fact you can't really erase it. But what I kind of like about it is it forces me now. I'm going to try it. If you haven't noticed, if I do some of my drawings, I like doing things where it almost like forces me to finish it, because like if I don't finish it, I just end up just getting bored, and I just end up like, I don't know, that's just what ends up happening with me. So I'm trying to focus, and I've noticed if I do it that way, it kind of forces me to get something done. Okay, let's keep going. Put on some music. Come on. And just like the other stream that I was saying, I always like to angle my lead. So what I have is I have this little thing right here, and see this? I just scribble that to make that lead angled. See? It'll take a little angle. Okay, so this is when it gets when the rubber meets the road now. So we're gonna actually zoom in on this now. Come on. Darn, I can't really like get it up in there. Oh well, we'll just have it like that. Hopefully that's okay. Now you have to remember that this layer right here, we can erase it, right? But this bottom layer right here, it's very hard to erase. So, and I think that's just a good one to know, is because like, you know, you can mess up right here, so, and you can get a lot of weird like personalities, a lot of just the general overall lines we do up in this portrait right here are very, very important. Depending on, I mean, what you think about things, but so we're just gonna just scribble. We don't have to be perfect, but keeping with that central line right there. Generally, when I end up starting, I generally start with my portraits. I generally start with this this angle right here, because I feel like if I can get it within that angle, I can kind of measure part of the portrait out with that end part of that eyebrow, and then you can kind of like build everything else. But here's the thing: is this is how I do it. Some artists, they do it the complete opposite. Some artists, they actually build the what I've been noticing is some artists, they'll actually build the face out and then build it from there, and then half it. So it's just like what you want to do, just like anything, right? Oops. Okay. I think I did make this hairline a little bit, it kind of has almost like an 80s hairline. Oh my goodness, look at that trick right there. What is that called? I think that's called like a surfer. No, that's not a surfer. That's a, I forgot what trick that was. Well, I need to not get distracted. And I'm using this, but by the way, see that lead right there? I'm using that to kind of get like the skinny and then this fat line. I really like using the skinny fat line. Oh yeah, and another part of the figure drawing is there's these general landmarks, right? So we can know, like, if you wanted to draw the ear, generally the ear will go right past the eyeball and then right down there, depending on how we want to draw this figure out. I don't really know how we're gonna do it yet. Exactly. It's also kind of weird because I'm drawing like standing up, so normally like moving the page around and stuff like that, but it's kind of weird that I'm just drawing like it with it just completely just static right here. And let me put on a different BMX video. I think this one's done. Oh wait, what is this? Okay, let me see here. What BMX video are you gonna watch? What can I put on? Should there just be more BMX videos that pop up? Let's see. I'm trying to find like a long BMX video. Just put on like road music or something. I'm wondering like if I can I'm wondering if I lower the volume just a little bit, I could get away with the copyright. Because I know like if I don't want the stream getting silence and stuff. By the way, I'm gonna erase this. And see how I erase it and that bottom layer is still there? Well, you can actually erase that layer, but you just gotta be really you gotta really dig into it to erase it, right? But what's kinda cool is if you kind of be a little gentle with that first, oops, I didn't put the thing on. Sorry. If you're kind of gentle with the second layer, you can kind of get away with having that under layer still kind of show through. Oh. Well, you haven't done this in a while, so yeah. I really don't know. Still just not really sure how this character's even gonna go, honestly. Do we have bangs on her? Like it's like playing a role-playing game, you know? It's like, what do you want, you know? Like, thing. There's kind of like a tangent right there. I don't like that. Yeah, it's already been almost 4 hours. This is brutal. Oh. Okay, so we got that part down. Let's try and get a, let me push this out a little bit. Push this back to normal. I think we should work on these hands now. How are we gonna do some of these hands? That's the question right now. Just see, is this in the right proportion thing? Right? Start with her thumb, forefinger, middle finger. The handle thing. That's sketchy. And I'm just trying to work on some armor. Sometimes I'll like be like, oh, I don't know if I should touch that again. I just work on some other stuff. Do 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 do. Pinky. I got that either. Let's redo these hands, they're not working. Sometimes you gotta battle it too. Sometimes it's like, just like with the riding, you know, where you're just doing it over and over and over again. That's how it is as well. How are we going to do this? I'm trying to think, like, what would a hand... I mean, we could maybe even, like... Hands are hard. And we need some new music. Peaceful loud music. to do this. This is hard. I haven't been practicing my figure drawing in a while. I'm like struggling here, but it's okay. It is okay. That's how it is. It's just like riding. You just gotta like get that right line. Once you can get that line, you can kind of like go for it. Okay, that's looking maybe a little better. Push this lead down so it doesn't break on me. That's another thing I do sometimes. Okay, so we got that hand down. I think we might use that hand. So we're gonna work on the hardest parts first. This one's gonna be challenging right here. And sometimes this is the hard part about doing it right. Because sometimes you don't want to erase it right. Especially if you're doing like some of these hard areas. Because I just did that like 4 times right there, you know. And I've done that many times. Sometimes I'm just sitting there like 20 times. I'm just like sitting like, oh, I don't like that one, not that one, not that one. Now another thing with like these proportions is also you can think about this as an arc, right? So like the end of that hand right there, it's like this arc right here. But with that same arc, you can almost get like the arc of where that next hand is gonna be. That look okay? I'm doing this, and so what I did right there is like, you know, like a normal hand, it has like this right here. If you study Bridgman brings that up. Like there's these landmarks. Bridgman's really about like landmarks, and so if you can kind of figure out these landmarks, it just makes drawing just a little bit easier. Maybe not completely easier, but like. Now that hand's really janky, but all right, let's start. Now we can kind of work on. We don't have to always like finish it out right, but now we can kind of like work on something. I generally know that that's what it's maybe gonna kind of look like. So now we can start embellishing some other stuff. Start having fun. Now now when we're kind of getting right in this area is this kind of where we can kind of like, it's getting more like graffiti now, or like graffiti, you know, like the graffiti's kind of like, you can do like abstraction lines and all sorts of weird lines and stuff like that. That's where we can get into now. Put some more lead up in here. I'm going to push that down because if I use that lead, it's going to break. I'll put that down like that. Okay, so we're just doing some abstraction lines, still trying to like keep it on these like foundation layers though, but yeah, trying to stay with it as much as we can. But also see how like I did like this 2-leaf thing? What I like to do is like I'll take little elements like that, just kind of like in the graffiti thing, like what I was bringing up. But see how we have like this double scale mail armor thing? You know, sometimes you can just play around and be like, okay, well there's a double thing right there. Maybe we could try like a double thing over here. Right? Like a double leaf thing. Right? That's what I think about in my mind sometimes, but... Holy moly, dude, that dude just did a gnarly foof. By the way, this video that we're watching, this is one of the first BMX videos I ever watched. I wish I could play the music because the music is amazing. I bet I can actually listen to a lot of this. I wonder if a lot of the music on this one's copyrighted, but it probably is. But there's a lot of great music in this this one. Okay, let's do another leaf thing over here. Stem. Do the belt. This is the buckle thing. And I haven't done this in a while. I haven't done like a female character in a while. I'm gonna be honest, I feel like dudes are just like easier to draw. Cause like with dudes you can kinda just like, you know, you can kinda just make them all haggard looking and stuff like that. This one you gotta be like very like, whoosh, whoosh, just like very like flowy, you know? And sometimes that's challenging. Well, I find it like more challenging than like drawing a dude. Cause like a dude I could just like mess up and be like, oh, you know, that's how it is, you know, but. Oh, stitches. Sorry, I should actually zoom this in, huh? Okay, where are we at? So the other thing I'd like to think about too, especially on the second layer we're doing right now, is to try and draw from this side in, because look, I actually smeared it a little bit right there. and that was actually from my hand. So I actually need to get another piece of paper and clean piece of paper. Oh, darn. I just dropped. That's actually kind of crazy. I'm actually drawing standing up. I actually think it's better for my back. We're actually going to use this and just cover that right there. And we're going to just do the shield real quick. And generally what I've been doing on my shields is I'll do like this. I'll go like this. Put a little notch in it. Like she blocked something. You know? And then basically I just do the 3D like graffiti thing. You know, like the graffiti thing that we do with the 3D. That's basically what we're doing with the shield. And maybe this shield's like made out of wood or something, so. Oh yeah, there's also a strap that should be right there. Holy moly, that dude, Brian was that dude right there. He just did a turn down to freaking pedal feeble. That was really crazy, actually. I was not expecting to see that. Wow. I don't even remember the last time I've even seen somebody do that. So she is going to wear like a glove thing. And this is a paladin, by the way. Paladin. Paladino. Actually, I don't know what we can do for right here. There's a variety of types of armor. We can have her have like a skirt. We could have a tabard on her. I think we'll do a tabard this time. Generally, a tabard you can get away with just a lot of stuff. You know, like I don't have to draw as much, and it kind of makes it quicker. You know, and a tabard is like just this thing right here. So you just go like this. Actually, what we could do is like, and just push it down like that. Let's put a cross right here. But what's really cool is like it's almost like playing like an RPG game, right? But like with this RPG game, it's kind of like it's way faster. Well, actually, it seems really slow right now. But in all honesty, if you were to play an RPG game, bro, I'd have to grind like hours and hours and hours just to get this armor piece right here. I'm actually gonna put like some leaves in her hair. She's kind of like very nature-y. Oh yeah, and we can make this like a leaf sword. Thanks, man. We got the hard part down. The hard part's this part right here. But yeah, you know how it's like now it's like it's easy kind of, right? Well, I guess it's not easy, but it's a lot less stressful. Put a little cross right there. Now let's see, what are we gonna do for this armor? So see how we have like this weird I don't know, what would I call that? Double leaf armor thing right here. We have a double leaf over here, double leaf over here. How can we make a double leaf thing over here, right? And so what we're gonna try and do is I'm just gonna go and then put like a double leafer thing right down there. Put some straps. Now, this is very just abstract, honestly. I honestly think like That's why I like drawing a lot of like armored characters, is because it's really abstract right there. Like right there, these are just shapes. Like it's just a triangle and a triangle. And I kind of like, that's why I kind of like the armor stuff, is just because I know I do like a lot of the armor of God thing. I mean, that's generally what I do. But it's just so much like, I kind of like, it kind of reminds me of just doing like a graffiti piece in some sense. Graffiti piece, graffiti piece, graffiti piece. This is just like a graffiti piece, but just a figure. We haven't even drawn the bike yet. This is generally why I don't do these figures. This is actually why I'm doing these figures every other day, is because this ain't just a 30-minute thing I could do. I gotta like think about all the stuff that I'm doing up in here. I wish I could do it like a graffiti piece where it's just like, I just go straight in, I'm just like, and I just don't give up. Put a little rivet right there. And since we just did a rivet right there, we're gonna put a couple rivets over here as well. And I actually want to put like some like wings. She's gonna have like some crazy like boot wings. I haven't drawn a wing in a while. And so since we did a wing right there, let's do a wing over here. She has like enchanted boots. Enchanted boots of peace. Because the meek shall inherit the earth. Oh yeah, another thing I forgot to say is see how I didn't do a line right there, like on the top of the breast plate armor, and then like there's some parts where I didn't do that right there. So what some artists do, I kind of forgot to mention this, what a lot of inkers, if you get into like inking and stuff like that, and like shadow work, a lot of inkers, they actually they draw this layer right here, but they try and draw it and they try and leave those out where the highlight is, to where if the light was coming down, so I'm kind of imagining like the light coming down like this, and so that would almost be like a highlight layer, and then this green layer is almost kind of like that mid-tone layer. There we go. Now we want, generally when people do like a character like this, they're like, oh, we can do like a cape in the back. Actually, I forgot this right down here. Do the Bible now. Let's try to acknowledge God in all of our ways, and He will direct our steps, right? I mean, that's the other crazy thing to think about is if you really think about like the Lord, He is kind of like the master creator. So what's actually kind of sad to me is like so many of like figure drawing and stuff like that, what a lot of people don't understand is a lot of figure drawing, the people that they studied were actually believers. And it's not like that nowadays because, you know, everything's just gone so, but if you look deeper into the lore of things, a lot of people that even got into the figure drawing stuff, you know, a lot of them were believers in the beginning, which is crazy, right? Just like basically the thing that I'm doing right here, this is kind of like the Michelangelo method, because I learned from Bridgman, and Bridgman in turn learned from Michelangelo. So in turn, this is kind of like, in some weird way, this is kind of like like a weird like modern thing of Michelangelo of how he created figures, because he would do that same thing. He would do like the proportion grid. Now the crazy thing about Michelangelo is then he would do these like drawings and stuff like that, and then he would like do a marble sculpture or something like that, you know. Put a cross right there. Man, I wish I could listen to the songs on these. The songs are so good in this video. Let's do the. Let's actually draw the bike now. Gonna have this down. Actually, you know what I forgot I used to do? What I actually used to do, and I totally forgot about this. I used to do this in pencil, used to do that in pencil, and then I would do the rest in ink. I wouldn't even like do this part, all this part, and all these lines right here. I actually used to just do it straight into ink. I should probably get back into doing that, because that's how I used to do these ink drawings, like faster. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna draw the bike now. I think this skate park right here is actually still in existence. I think that might be Four Seasons Skate Park, which is actually crazy. I actually think that skate park is still like going strong. It might be, I don't know, I might be wrong. It was a long stream. Holy moly. Holy Toledo. Now what I'm doing right here, this line right here, is just basically the I'll actually pull this back a little bit. This line right here is basically the wheel diameter. And if we can actually look at this video right here, just look at the leg, and we could take some parameters of, just some general reference of how big a BMX bike is compared to a person, right? Generally, I guess depending on if a person's really big or not. But I think, John, let me look at that. Let me look real fast. What does that come up to? I think it comes up a little bit past that segment. But yeah, that's basically what we're doing a lot. Just measuring, analyzing, experimenting, making abstractions. But this is now what's gonna get fun, and we can draw a bicycle up in here. So let's see here. Do just very light. It's kind of sad, because I've been doing these bikes basically in the same angle. So now with the bikes, what I've been trying to learn, there's actually not many how to draw bike videos, but generally with the BMX bike, what I've been finding from my studies is that generally a BMX bike, you can do a circle right here, you can do a second circle right here, that, and then the third circle, actually it's not fully a third circle, especially if you have like a smaller frame. But generally, it's almost 3 circles long. And then see how I can get this. See how he did like the cut it in half, and cut that in half, cut that in half, and so we know that this is the back wheel. And since we cut that in half, we know that this is actually where the hub is gonna. This is kind of just general thing, but it's kind of weird, because I've done so many of these drawing streams that I'm kind of just like, I guess I haven't done too many of them, but I used to do a lot of these drawing streams. But the thing is that I'm kind of just like reiterating basically everything I've said already, but there's nothing like it's like crazy new. But what's really cool with drawing bikes is that bikes, it's kind of gets into like, what geometry do you want, right? And now what I really like about this is actually what kind of kept me drawing. It sounds ridiculous, like drawing these characters, is because now I can be like, oh, okay, well now I can be like a bike designer. Like what kind of bike would you want to design, right? I think it's kind of fun being like, okay, well I want these forks at 0 degree offset, so these forks are going to be 0 degree offset. We're going to have a 75 degree head tube on this bike right here. I'll do skinnier tires. Oh yeah, and the other thing I didn't say is I also use a blended pencil on this one. See how that one's like really roundish? I don't do it too. Some people actually do like to use the sharpened pencils, but for some reason, why these colored pencils are so waxy feeling. They feel very like smooth. Now the thing is, when I do the graffiti pieces, I actually like my pencils sharp. But I've noticed if I like doing this flowy layer, I like the pencils kind of round. Because it just feels more flowy. Now this trick's going to be running 1.7 degree tires. And that's the other thing I've been noticing about drawing bikes, is that I generally start with the front wheel. Generally, you start with the front wheel, you can basically build up a bike. I have seen some people and they draw it the other way. They draw like the frame, which you could probably draw the frame as well. That might even be better. What I've been noticing is as long as I draw that front wheel, I can kind of just like make it work out. I kind of want, I don't know, since this is a chick, I kind of want this chick maybe even just to have like a racing bike, right? Yeah, like kind of like pegless maybe. Maybe she's a pegless flatlander. The elusive pegless flatlander. Oh, that's a little stem, dude. That's like a Biz House stem right there. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna use this piece of paper to hold that right there. Huh. I'm trying to figure out where I should put that seat post. And also, this is actually where the bottom bracket should be. So this is actually where the bike manufacturers or makers, they actually they start, actually what I've been told by bike makers is they actually start with the seat tube. And generally they'll start with the seat tube, and what they do is they get these angles right here, right? And so say if I were to bring a bike up to Mike Laird, right? I'm like, Mike Laird, I want you to make this bike right here, right? He wants these exact angles, because if you change one of these angles up in here, it actually changes a lot of things with the bike. So that looks like, I don't know, is that the down? Yeah, that's called the down tube. Now I know the down tube is at a certain angle, and the head tube angle right here, this is actually the head tube. Now this is actually an important angle, because some people, they like it like 75. I think 75 is like completely almost straight, but some people like that head tube angle like differently, and just the minute little millimeter will actually change the feel of that bike right there, which is crazy. And now it doesn't really like seem like it like that, but like if you get into like bike stuff, like it's a very important angle right there for bike manufacturers. Now, now this is another part about the seat tube. So this is actually a seat tube height. That actually looks like a very high seat tube height. That would probably be almost like, yeah, it's actually really high actually, but it's okay. I probably make no sense, by the way, but if you ride bikes, you understand what I'm talking about. Dude, that dude was cool right there. What's that guy's name? Oh, George DeSantos. Is that his name? I think his name's George DeSantos. What's actually funny is there's this rider right here. I think his name's Bright. That guy right there that is on the camera. That guy right there. That was actually my nickname when I was a little kid. They used to call me Little T, like little Tirada. It's kind of funny. Okay, let's build these bars up. Where do the bars come up to? They generally come up to like what? Like the pelvis? I mean, she could have short bars too, but I wonder what the bar height for racers are, because what's actually interesting about like racing bike geometry is that it hasn't really changed too much. What's only changed with the racing bike geometry generally has just been it seems like it's been materials, right? So now they use like carbon fiber rims and they use like carbon fiber frame, and you know, they're still using a lot of tie parts and stuff like that. Man, I'd love to have a tie bike, dude. One day I'm going to actually have a tie bike. That is going to be gnarly. One day. It's going to be crazy. It kind of just like looks like a general, just normal bike. I don't know. And people are just think I'm crazy. Oh well. It doesn't matter. Especially doing the, dude, that's what's really weird about doing these streams. I'm doing these Bible studies right in the beginning of them, dude. People think I'm crazy, I bet. Oh well, I'm supposed to not be ashamed of the gospel, right? But man, sometimes I actually really wonder if my life would be way different if I just didn't like promote the Bible. You know, it's like, oh my goodness, like where would I be in life if I just didn't promote the Bible at all? But then in some cases I have to like give credit to God, because I mean, even just a lot of the stuff that I'm learning right up in here, I've learned this from other believers. So it's like I can't just like be like, hey man, I'm just gonna like forget about everything that God has done for me. But sometimes that does go through my mind of like, man, would my life be better if I just didn't promote the gospel at all? There are different to promote. Yeah, I mean that's the big one. Sometimes I wonder if just the Lord's just using me as some sort of weird experiment. Right? Because I feel like, because here, get this, right? If I was like fully sponsored and like I had like all sorts of like companies coming up to me and stuff like that, bro, I don't think I'd ever like I don't think I ever would have started promoting God and, you know, stuff like that. And then sometimes I wonder, maybe that's why God has kind of put me in this weird position, because if I was sponsored and, or like just, you know, companies and stuff were just all hooking me up. I mean, I guess Colt does hook me up, which I'm actually gonna shout them out because they're actually the only company that actually has hooked it up. But I'm just talking about in a sense if I was actually like fully like sponsored and stuff like that, right? I honestly probably want to do these Bible studies. That's kind of the funny thing. But maybe that's why God has done it in that degree. The other thing is I've been meeting, I mean, I guess it's been a while, but the sad thing is I have met a lot of like pros, and they seem kind of like they got salty, like kind of like getting sponsored, and they kind of thought it was going to be a bit different and stuff like that. Like maybe they kind of thought they were going to make more money or like stuff like that. And man, I have met some that have kind of gotten kind of salty over that stuff. So it's just kind of sad. Because I feel like it kind of like made them kind of not want to ride as much, right? Or it kind of like maybe changed a little bit of like the fun of like riding, right? Alrighty. I'll see how we did like this weird brake cable line thing right here to make a... Actually, I'm going to just do this as a simple sword. I was going to do like a leaf sword. I kind of just want to make this like a simple sword. One-handed sword this time. Little notch in it. She's taken out a demon. Put a cross on top of that. Let's 3D this out. Holy moly, dude, Brian Val is crazy. Dude, it's so crazy, man. These riders were shredding at this time too, bro. Holy moly, dude. Some of the tricks that they're doing, I'm actually really surprised. I'm like, holy moly, I haven't seen anybody do that, actually. It's so crazy, because that's actually why I like BMX riding so much, is because, like, everybody has their own style. Like, even if you copy I mean, here's the other thing, right? I feel like if you were to copy everybody's, like, your favorite rider's tricks, like, you wanted to learn every single trick that they did, right? I feel like you would still have your own style, because just like everybody's body is different. You're always riding a different geometry bike, that even if you do the same tricks, you're probably just going to do it different just because of there's just so many variables. Oh my goodness, that was crazy. That dude just sent it. Man, I miss just riding normally. I wish I could just not just ride flatland right now. I totally miss just how I used to ride, but I gotta get the surgery if I do. Oh, that was awesome. Okay, let's finish this out. Yeah, that's what sucks, man. If I want to ride like how I used to ride, I'm gonna have to get the surgery, bro. It just sucks, dude. Oh well. Eventually I'm gonna probably have to get the surgery, but that's kind of been the goal lately. It's just like, how long can I actually just ride without like completely messing my knee up? Which we've been going pretty far. I've been doing almost 3.5 years, I think, without an ACL, which is insane, actually. Man, see, I'm like mixing everything I like, dude. You know, it's like I like paladins, I like knights, I like God. You know, I like BMX. We're trying to acknowledge God in all of our ways, right? Like, that's what's gnarly. Is like, it's so crazy just even thinking about it, and that's actually what started getting me doing this stuff. It's just because of that thing in Proverbs. It's Proverbs 3:5-6, right? It says, acknowledge God in all your ways and he will direct your paths, right? That's why I started trying to morph everything. I'm like, okay, well, if I acknowledge God in all my ways, he's going to start directing me, right? So that's what we're going for. I love drum brakes. I've always been a brake rider, bro. Like, I mean, there was a little bit of time when I was brakeless, but dude, I don't know why everybody went brakeless. I'm gonna be really honest. I think it's because of bar spins. I think it's because like so many, because that's actually the trick I never really learned, right? Like, I can't even do a hot bar spin. I know you can still do them with brakes and stuff like that, but I actually think that's why maybe the brakes kind of died out. It's just because people just wanted to maybe like, I don't know, just maybe learn bar spins or something. Or no, actually I know why they died out. It's because there's too much bike maintenance. People don't want to work on their bike and stuff like that. Little headset right here. We ovalized that. Well, not ovalized, but we did that kind of like curve right there. Gotta eat, going to try and learn. Okay, for sure. Yeah, you don't gotta watch these streams, bro. It's all good. But yeah, with these drawing streams, I generally don't like work on a drawing. I think I might have. I honestly think I might have undiagnosed ADHD. Because like I feel like if I don't finish something like right away, I'm just like I can't do it. Like that's just how I've always been. That's why I've just been terrible at school, bro. Like I've never been good at school. It's just because it's just like I don't know. I honestly just thought school was boring, but like I was just so bad at school, man. I think I actually got this down too, bro. I'm gonna put a little Easter egg right here. Where is that box at? I need to get. There is going to be a little bit of an Easter egg. The only company that's ever hooked it up with anything, honestly. I gotta shout them out. Let's see here. Let's try and draw it up in here. I always just like do it very faintly, like where it's like you couldn't even really tell. I mean, I guess you could tell if you were a BMX rider, but like if you're just like a normal person, you probably wouldn't be able to tell. Oh, that's terrible. Oh. Yeah, they're the only company that's ever hooked me up with anything, honestly. It's kind of crazy, actually. I've known a lot of friends that rode for companies, and they hooked it up with stuff, but in terms of actually, like a legitimate company, which is crazy to think about. Do. It's kind of like probably like a 2082 sprocket. Kind of got the seat kind of messed up. I guess you can kind of see a little bit of the seat. Let's see here. I'm gonna put like a raven right here. And maybe we could put a squirrel right there. Let's do that. Oh. What happened to my pencil? Where did it go? There it is. Let's draw a squirrel. Little squirrel. Little monkey, little mookie, little chubby squirrel up in here. Dude, how crazy would it be to have a squirrel pet? That would be gnarly, dude. Little monkey. Oh man, we watched that entire Roadfuls, didn't we? Oh my goodness, we did. Let's see here. I didn't even watch it really. do 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 do. Let's put a peace sign right here. Try and write a verse right up in here. I'm gonna erase part of this right up in here now. So we already got that down. What armor? Let's see what verse we're gonna put up in here. Ephesians 6. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, having done all to stand firm. Let's write that verse. Okay. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God. You may be able withstand in the evil day. And having done all to stand firm. That's Ephesians 6. Ephesians 6:13. go. Darn. Come on. Oh, I love this song. This is the Paladin song. It is all easy. Little monkey. Little monkey. I guess we could do this double leaf thing right here too. Okay. Got some thigh armor. I think we're about done. I guess we'll sign it. Okay, well, that took a long time. Oh my goodness, almost 5-hour stream. This is why I don't do these drawings that much, because they just take up so much time. But it's okay. It's okay. We about done though. Let me turn this off. There we go. This is the, I guess we'll get a thumbnail now. Push this out one more degree. There we go. There we go. Should we have it like that, or should I have it one more degree in? Let's have it one more degree in. There we go. Guess I can't get it all the way in there, huh? Come on, buddy. I guess maybe we'll have it, maybe. No, I can't. Fudge. I'm gonna have to just crop it the other way. Let's actually get some tape up in here. I'm gonna tape this so I can get like it completely centered. It's not centered. There's some tape. Center this by taping it to the sides. Yeah, this one's finally done. Normally I would ink it. There was a time when I would do these when I got hurt on my bike. There was a time when I would ink these out, but I was like I didn't have my, like that would be my entire stream. Like my entire stream, I would do a Bible study and then I just draw all day. Not all day, but like that should be basically how it was. Let's see if we can get this down up in here. I think that might be a good thumbnail like that. Let me put my pencil up in the frame. And I think that's going to be the thumbnail. Yeah, like that. Pointing to the cross. The Lord of Lords and the King of Kings. This is all to glorify the Lord. Hopefully it does. I don't know if it is or not. I'm trying. We're trying out here, okay? I know I'm doing a great job at it, but we're trying at least. I'm going to put a stream marker right there for the thumbnail. Add stream marker. And we did this. This is a general verse, by the way. The other thing is, if you guys get into drawing like knights and stuff, you know, you could do like the armor of God thing, and then you could just put a verse in there, right? You know, you could embellish it with other things. I like those little squirrel right up in here. But that is the end of today's stream. Appreciate anybody that stopped by. I know this one was pretty long. Hopefully we can have and keep learning. And Creative Fit, thanks for tuning in. Holy moly, bro, it's crazy. You watch a lot of this stuff, man. It's actually really insane. I'm actually starting to get the little bit of a I'm getting kind of revved back up into doing the drum. I'm actually really glad I didn't get that Ethernet cable, bro. I feel like if I got that Ethernet cable, actually I feel like I was on this weird path where I was like, I could have got the Ethernet cable and I could have started streaming video games. But honestly, bro, I think like this is almost like a video game to me, man. Like this is just like this is like a video game that we can like become the RPG character that we want to be, man. Or not like that in degree, but we can like maybe glorify God a little bit more. I don't even know what I'm talking about. It's been a long, I don't even know. It's like I use up all my speechcraft right in the beginning of the stream. I can't talk the rest of the stream. But yeah, we out of here, man. You have a good one, dude. Thanks for anybody that tunes into these things. We out of here. Keep it up. Keep trying your best and have fun. And remember, bikes could help to heal and restore the earth. Adios, everybody. Adios.